Welcome back to the Life of a Fit Pro podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Anderson, and today I want to take you on a journey through what I'm calling the anatomy of a playlist. Before we do that, I want to take a moment and just say thank you for tuning in, for watching, and if you could do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe, like this, share it, comment, and also check out the companion, The Secret Life of a Fit Pro blog, where I detail every single day something in the Fit Pro world, something that I've thought of that day, something that I encountered that day. Literally posted something called Trainer Thoughts the other day. So thank you so much for joining me on all of these different journeys. It's so much fun to share and give insight because this world is pretty cool. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the anatomy of a playlist. I thought that was such a cutesy title because we think of anatomy in terms of like the human body. And oh my gosh, I've learned, I was a history major in college, okay? And I took like earth science as my general science. Like I didn't even take biology. I loved chemistry in high school though. I loved chemistry, stoichiometry. So fun. I got that. Anyway, if you would have told me in 2004 when I was embarking on my 4-year college journey and planning to study history and English that I would be like really into anatomy, I'd have been like, okay, fine. Also, no joke, if you would have told me then that I'd be really into working out, I'd have been like, no, that's I'm not that girl. That's not me. Joke's on me. Joke's on me. So in my learning, in my certifications for really particularly for group fitness, a little bit for my personal training certification, that was more, personal training was a little bit of anatomy, but a little bit more about creating exercises, regressions, progressions, understanding like the business of becoming a trainer. There's a little bit of that, not enough. You really have to figure that out on your own. I digress. I'm like all in tangents today. But I really didn't dive into anatomy until I did my 200-hour training for yoga. We literally looked at the body and talked about the muscles and the fascia and the tendons and how energy moves through the body and the chakra system and all of those things. I mean, that's not medical, but I never really thought I would be into body movement and anatomy, but that really pushed it forward. And then of course, Pilates dives into it a lot. We talked a lot about it in bar class as well. So I'm glad for all of the training that I've been able to do. But yes, the anatomy of a playlist. So I've said before, I'm all about music. When I teach yoga with music, unless we're doing it outside. Then I let the music be just like the nature of what's happening because there's really literally nothing more magical and powerful than that. But I like music. I think music sets the tone, brings you back to the present, allows you to be there. It just creates a vibe. And that has been sort of the cornerstone of my fitness life, my teaching life. It started with Zumba and they gave you specific songs to use. And then I sort of branched out from there and found my own beats and tunes that I liked and my own style of choreography. And then a lot of the classes that I teach operate under the 8 count, and finding the beat and the tempo is so important for the class. And then I discovered when I started teaching booty, B-U-T-I, beat drops. And I was really good at like a beat drop. And there's something magical. This is actually researched, scientific. Your brain changes when you move to the beat. And that's in drumming. So I taught pound for a little while. That's in bodily movement, following the rise and fall of a song, following a beat drop. It changes your brain, and in a good way. And there's something really powerful and magical there. So that's the pressure that I go into every single class with. I have to find the beat drops. We have to make sure we're hitting on the mark. The 8 count is super important for a lot of my students who are former athletes and cheerleaders and dancers. And yeah, so I wanted to walk through, how do I do this? I create a new playlist for every single class. And I know that that's crazy. And back in 2009, that meant I was burning a new CD. I used to get, if you know, you know, the towers of 100 CDs. And I would burn a new one for every single class. I will never forget. Before I got my own classes and I was teaching Zumba, well, I know I had morning classes, but I really wanted to break into, listen to me, I wanted to break into like the Saturday morning class. And so there was somebody that was teaching that I was like, I considered a mentor, and I really valued what they brought to the table. But the thing, when I covered and subbed their classes, they would just hand me a CD. And I'm like, what's this? They're like, oh, this is what I've been using for the last month. The same playlist for the month. Now, okay, I see both sides of this, right? I do change my playlist every class, but it's not 100% different. I do have some anchor choreography, some anchor songs, like particularly in high fitness, that I keep, because there is something about seeing the same thing every week and getting really good at it and internalizing it and making it your own. That is powerful too. But I'll change a few things. I'll add one new choreography that week. I'll change the warm up and the cool down song, like something to make it even just like a little bit different, because I find that's exciting too. But yeah, back in the day, I would burn a new CD for every single class. Like I had towers and towers and towers of CDs. And actually, you know what's really funny? I wonder if I have any of those CDs left. I've been using Apple Music since day one, and I know that makes me a chuggy elder millennial because everybody's on Spotify. And honestly, I don't do that. I don't do Spotify. I know my podcast goes through Spotify, which is hilarious, but I'm an Apple Music girly. I pay for the subscription. I've always bought my songs through here. That's just my comfort zone. So that's what I do. Except for, well, even high fitness. High fitness, it filters through the high fitness app because we increase and decrease the speed of songs. If you didn't know, now you know. I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know if you come to class, like this song is majorly sped up. What's going on? Doesn't sound like this on the radio. But anyway, so Apple Music, I would burn a CD for every class until I could stream it from my phone. And that was a very interesting thing to embark on. But I thought I would talk about how I do this. So I have some anchor playlists. So High Fitness has its own app. So they choose the songs, they give you choreography related to those songs, but you get to pick how you put it together in the playlist. Like there's a formula to follow, but you get to pick how you put it together, and you have to purchase each song that you use. Yeah, just wait, we're going to talk about all of that. It's expensive to use music for classes, especially if you're independent. I have these anchor playlists in my Apple Music. So I have one, and the naming convention is so funny because Apple Music puts it in order alphabetically. I guess I could probably change that, but now Apple Music allows you to pin playlists. So all of my class playlists are pinned at the top, like the anchor playlist. But I call them A and then the star emoji and whatever it is so that it stays at the top. But I have one for Pilates, I have one for yoga, and I have one for boot camp. Actually, I have two for boot camp. Sometimes I'll do boot camp circuit style. So it's Tabata and we move around. And sometimes I do it HIIT style, 2-to-1. So I have two different playlists for that. But I have those all pinned and saved in my library. And what I'll do is I'll think of, when I go to make that playlist, usually the day or two before class. Sometimes I try not to do this, but the day of class. I'll consider the modality. So let's take Pilates, for example. Pilates there's some upbeat, but some lower beat. So it's a mixture of tempos, a mixture of beats, but I want to keep it upbeat and the vibes high. So feel good kind of songs, but songs that you can really. The point of Pilates is not the music. The music does not drive the movement. But I feel like it sets the vibe for the movement, and it triggers something in my head when I hear a certain song come on. I'm like, okay, we're going the foundation 5. Let's go. We're doing this. Or, okay, this is our sideline series. Or, okay, this is our prone series. Whatever it might be. It's for me. It's for me, but it's for your enjoyment. We don't do movements on the beat in Pilates because we use our breath for the beat. So it's really kind of a nice background vibe. It's there just to sort of be there. The music is not terribly loud in Pilates. I don't like to crank it. High fitness, it's like all the way up where my phone is like, girl, are you okay? No, we're not. But so for Pilates, it's low, but I want the beats to be good. So usually I will take a song from a popular reel, like a trending song on Reels, and I'll use that as my anchor. So I'll put that in there first. And then Apple Music does a thing where it suggests songs based on that song. So it gives you like 6 different choices. So I'll go through those, and if any of them hit, I'll go, yeah. And then I'll keep refreshing until I start to get a vibe of the playlist. So for example, one of the anchor songs I've been using is Joe. Let me look it up. DJO, End of Beginning, because that was kind of trending for a while. So I would start with that one. And then I would see what Apple Music would suggest related to that song. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes I have to bring in a second song to sort of like feel like, where's this going? So I'll use that and start to build. And then I'll think of artists that I know my students like. They'll sing along to Jason Derulo. They'll sing along to Demi Moore. That was really cute. Such an elder millennial. And then I always try to end with a Taylor Swift song. So I'll pull something Taylor Swift to end it. But then I've been trying to infuse some like 90s, early 2000s songs into the mix. I teach Pilates at a college, and it's a lot of people half my age, but they're really into our music, and I'm here for it. So I threw in some Goo Goo Dolls, loved. I threw in some old school J-Lo and Carly Rae Jepsen, like, and like OG Lady Gaga, and it hit. It hits so good. So that's the vibe I'll do with Pilates. I'll start with the trending anchor song, maybe 2 trending anchor songs. I'll roll through what Apple Music suggests, and then I'll pull things in. Like I almost always use a Taylor Swift for a cool down song, because I tell them, like, when we get to Taylor Swift, you're done. Like, we're stretching. And they're like, oh my gosh, okay. I've been trying to lately pull in some like late 90s, early 2000s songs, and I'll go on the vibe based on what they seem to like. So again, the Jason Derulo thing, I'll try to put a Jason Derulo song in there, and it's really fun. And the songs can be kind of like fun, cutesy, flirty. Like I can be a little risque with those songs, which is really fun. But then you have something like yoga, where again, it does not drive the movement. However, it does trigger things in my head for, okay, this song is more upbeat, so we're doing our Warrior 1 series or our Warrior 2 series. This song is bringing it down, so we got to get back down to the floor and finish our flow. So I use a variety of things. I usually will start and end the class with very instrumental music. I love the songs that are meant to connect to a chakra, especially like heart chakra at the end, where it's meant to, if you really allow yourself just to be there, you might start to feel something in the heart area. The beginning, I'll try to do something that's more in the first and second chakras, like more rooting, more grounding. There's a lot that goes into it, right? Did you realize this? There's a lot. It's not just, oh, these songs are great, go. For the longest time, I was using a very like low-key drum song at the end, and that was sort of the note of like, okay, we're in our final pose. We're in Savasana or whatever style Savasana you're taking. And again, it's background, so I don't make it very loud. The music is not the point of the class. It's there to sort of just help you stay in the present, and the breath is really what drives our movements for yoga. But a Pilates playlist and a yoga playlist look totally different. I would not use the same songs. Sometimes maybe, but yoga, I try to do more downbeat, more low key, more like 98 to 100 beats per minute. Whereas a Pilates, I would go for like 120, 125, 130. A bar class is all 130, 140 beats per minute. So that one, bar, we do drive by the music. We hit those beats. We go by the music. It's not like choreographed like high fitness where you do the same movements to the same parts of the song, but we'll use the beats to really channel into the movements. So if there's an up, I'll try to like have our arms go up at that moment, something like that. So I try to make it drive. So bar is very upbeat. Boot camp, I will teeter between 130 to 150 beats per minute, depending on what movement we're doing. I notice that if I use a higher beat per minute on our cardio pushes, like a minute movement, people will move faster. You will move to the beat. And I've also noticed that people will slow down if I use 120 beats per minute. And that's really important for a lot of our strength-based movements. So that's really cool. So I have 2 playlists for that. I have one for bar, I have one for Pilates, I have one for yoga, and I update every single class. Every single class. You might hear similar songs week to week. You might hear the same song week to week, but not in the same order, not the full list of every single song. I feel like it's really, there's so much music out there. And now we talk about the business of music. All right, my friends, if you are not a fitness professional, you might not know this, but you have to buy the music. And not only do you have to buy the music, you have to buy the rights to stream the music in your classes. And if you're teaching at a box gym, they should be doing this already for you, so you're kind of covered there. There are some songs that aren't part of the repertoire. For the longest time, Taylor Swift songs weren't part of the repertoire. Certain Ariana Grande songs weren't part of the repertoire. Occasionally, a song will disappear and I can't use it. And that's really sad for like high fitness. Sometimes they just go away, but they usually come back, but there's some kind of dispute legally, whatever. But there are 3 major like music streaming, and I always get the names wrong. For fitness. I will tell you also, if you are a fitness pro and you use music for YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, you have to use music that has rights. Like you have to have the rights to the music. A workaround, there are some companies like Power Music that will allow, you'll be okay. Your stuff will still be good. It's protected, but you have to buy into it. Okay, so there's like AS, I forget all the names of them, but I pay them. ASCAP, ASCAP, so you have to get music licensing through there. Fitness. And it's not inexpensive. So you have to really think about what kind of like environment you have. And I'm independent, so I have to do this. Okay, so I pay money to ASCAP, BMI, CZAC, and GMR. It's actually 4. Oh yeah, look at that. So you could also use, for the longest time before I had the bandwidth to pay for all of these different places. And again, paying for these services does not mean that you have access to every single song. Like there are some songs, again, that are just off limits. Sometimes they're off limits for certain times. But I've used a company called Power Music. I've used Muscle Mixes Music. Oh my gosh, Muscle Mixes Music and Pure Energy Go. And those have pre-licensed music. You do have to pay for the app for those, but and like Power Music, you can access if you pay for Apple Music, but they are license-free music, royalty-free music, because they have a company, they come in and they re-record popular songs. So it's not the artist singing it, but it's the vibe of the music. And Power Music is really great for their hit and Tabata because they already have it pre-timed for you, which is fabulous. So I lean into all of those things. And again, it's not inexpensive. You have to really think about your goals. So if you're just starting out, I would go for the Power Music. I would go for the Muscle Mixes or Pure Energy Go because that is pre-licensed and it's a little bit less expensive to do. You could also teach for a gym, and they're hopefully paying, they should be paying for those music licenses for you to be able to use. But just be careful, just be mindful. Just know that not every song is up for grabs, not every song is good. Sometimes it's trendy songs, and that really sucks because you want to play those trendy songs in classes because everybody loves those. So you just want to be mindful. Be mindful of it. Especially if you're streaming. If you're streaming online through YouTube or any kind of social media, your video could get blocked. Your video could get taken down, and that's not what you want at all. That's not what you want. So just be very, very mindful about it. But yeah, there is a business to music in fitness classes. There is a lot of money to be invested into it, and for me, it's worth it because, again, like I said, music is the lifeblood of my classes. It's the pillar, it's the cornerstone, the foundation, and I want to have it, so I pay for it. That's not everybody's MO. And so like when I first did Zumba, when I got that training, I would pay, I don't know, $20 a month to have access to their licensed music. So if I used all of their stuff, I was covered. Same with, I work with, oh gosh, who used to provide other music? I guess maybe that was it. Was that the only company when I did like Turbo Kick and Pio, they would give you a new release every other month of music. And as long as you use their pre-licensed music, you were covered. You didn't have to worry about paying into the 4 major music giants. You just had to use their music, and that was good. So do your research. If you're looking to become an instructor, go for those modalities where they provide the music if you don't want to worry about it, or look into those royalty-free pre-licensed music options, which are a little bit cheaper, and have fun with it. That turned into a little bit more of a music lesson of the business of fitness than I intended. I really wanted to go through an anatomy of a playlist, but now you know what goes through my mind and why we get paid the big bucks as fitness instructors to control the vibes of a class. Thank you so much for joining me for the Life of a Fit Pro, and I'll see you next time. Bye.